Welcome to Long Pond, Pennsylvania for the 7th race of the 2010 season for the ARCA Racing Series presented by RE/MAX and Menards. Today, it's the Messina Wildlife Animal Stopper 200. A new pole sitter, Patrick Sheltra, on top of the points chart. And right behind him, Justin Marks, just 10 points back. But the veterans are the ones that they've got to keep their eye on, because Bobby Gerhardt, a Pennsylvania native, has never won at this racetrack in 41 starts. And Frank Kimmel could be good starting on the outside of row 1. But how about Mikey Kyle, the fastest of the field from Pocono? Hello, everyone. Rick Allen alongside Phil Parsons. This is one of the trickiest tracks that we come to, and the ARCA Series has to take it on today.
It's like a road course, really. You have 3 different length straightaways, 3 completely different corners. You run over 100 miles an hour getting down in turn number 1. Then you slam on the brakes and turn left. And then you probably run 180, 85 miles an hour down the Long Pond straightaway into one of the most difficult and challenging corners in all of motorsports, the tunnel turn here. And then a little short shoot into turn number 3. Very, very flat. They repaved part of that racetrack a few years ago, and that's where you want to run. It's about 3 lanes up from the bottom of the racetrack, so extremely difficult and challenging racetrack, and you have to get off turn 3 to get down this long 3,700-foot straightaway.
Well, one guy who's been able to figure it out is our Menards Pole Award winner, presented by Ansel, and that is Mikey Kyle. He's one fast driver hanging out with Jim Trado.
And Ricky's had a very fast car in practice. Let's see if he can back it up in the race. Mikey Kyle, your first ever pole position here in ARCA with a proven race car. How can you make that car finish first after starting first?
I think just keep our fenders clean and be there at the end. That's the main thing, to go out there and take care of the race car. And we got a new sponsor on board for this race, Sears Auto Center in Diehard. And man, just really looking forward to the race. We're real good in the race trims. Just was able to pull down a lap to get on the pole. So it's really excited about the race. Really looking forward to getting out there and get going.
And we'll see if this car can return to victory lane with Mikey Kyle behind the wheel, as Joey Logano piloted this car to victory 1 year ago. Rick?
And Mikey Kyle currently 5th in the points standings, and Wendy Venerini is standing by with the man who's on top of the points standings.
Patrick Sheltra comes into Pocono as our ARCA points leader. Can you hold on to it? How good is your car going to be?
Well, we qualified 6th. We had a real loose race car. I think we have a pretty good chance at staying up front today. We just got to use our head, and, we really got to thank Ferguson Pipe and American Concrete coming on, and helping us get through the tough times right now. But I think we'll have a top 5 today and hopefully leave here with the points lead.
We all know how tricky this track is. What is the key for you to get around here?
You just got to keep your nose clean, be there at the end, and I think we'll have a good day.
All right, good luck to Patrick Sheltra. His best finish at Pocono before today was 3rd last year. Rick?
Thank you, Wendy. The drivers have been introduced to the fans. They will strap in and we'll fire the engines next on Speed. Coverage of the ARCA Racing Series on Speed is brought to you by RE/MAX. Find your dream home at RE/MAX.com. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards. The engines are fired. The field is making their way around this extremely tricky racetrack. The starting lineup will roll across the top of the screen in the hats. Again, we mentioned Mikey Kyle grabbing his first ever pole in the ARCA Racing Series.
How about Frank Kimmel on the outside of the front row? Very untypical for Frank Kimmel to have a great qualifying effort like he did here.
Mikey Kyle, Frank Kimmel, and Craig Goss currently are 5th, 6th, and 7th in the points standings, and that's the way they'll start this race today. I want to take a little bit closer look at this racetrack and our Messina track description.
We talked about 3 different corners, 3 different bankings. Left of your screen, you see that little patch right between the front row cars. That's the new patch in turn number 3, and that's where all the cars get the most grip. That's where they want to run. You can see turn 2, the tunnel turn, 8-degree banking, only 6 degrees down there in turn number 3. Again, over 200 miles an hour when they get down into turn number 1.
And this is a great shot. We're going to see a lot of this. The cars will fan out after they come out of turn number 3. For more on what you're going to need to know about this race, let's go back trackside to Jim Trado.
One driver to watch early on starts 33rd. Rob Brenton, number 36 Dodge for Allgaier Motorsports, had a motor issue in qualifying. He wasn't able to post a time, so he had to take a provisional. His crew chief, Dave Liner, is very confident he can back up his 5th quick practice times from yesterday. Liner's been here in victory lane many times with Tim Steele and with Blaze Alexander, so keep an eye on him as he will march through the field early. Dave promises me he might be 15th by the 2nd lap. Wendy?
Imagine growing up in Pocono, Pennsylvania, and on top of that, you're vice president of this racetrack. You would think you would have a ton of experience at this racetrack, but for the number 14 of Nick Adelsky, he does not. He only has 10 laps experience at this track. His dream, his entire life has been to race in the ARCA race here at his home track, owned by Dr. Rose and Joe Mattioli. And today that dream comes true for Nick. We're going to see how it works out today in the ARCA race for Nick.
Nick will start in the 23rd position, so he's going to have a pretty interesting view that he will be looking at through his windshield. We want to take a look at our Burger King race analysis. 36 trucks starting this race.
Say 200 miles, 80 laps. Our pit road speed is 55 miles an hour. Pit window is about 35 to 40, but you can stretch that with caution laps. You get better fuel mileage, obviously, during caution laps. So we have seen guys try to run well over 50 laps with some caution laps figured in.
And one of the, I guess, the things that we would look at as far as the strategy is you could potentially do a one-stop race here. You could come in one time and make it.
Absolutely. These guys can stretch that fuel mileage over 40 laps with some caution laps and then not have to come back in. So pit strategy often comes into play here, as well as fuel mileage.
Phil, what's the key of this racetrack? Where do you have to be good to be able to make your car faster than everyone else?
I think you really have to be good down in turn number 3. We talked about it early. You have to be able to get off turn number 3. So much drafting goes on here with these speeds upwards of 200 miles an hour. And you can really get a run off turn number 3. You can really pass some people and really make some time up. Everywhere else is important on this racetrack, but I think turn 3 is the key.
Mikey Kyle driving the car that went to victory lane a year ago at this racetrack. Joey Logano was behind the wheel. Outside of him, that 44 of Frank Kimmel. He has been winless for quite some time, looking for his streak to end and get back into victory lane. He is a 9-time series champion in the ARCA Racing Series and looking to rebound. The green flag goes in the air. We're underway from Pocono.
Mikey Kyle able to get out in front of Frank Kimmel, cleared him. Mikey Kyle just obliterated this field in qualifying, over 0.8 of a second faster than Frank Kimmel.
Through turn number 1, Mikey Kyle looking very smooth, holding on to second. Frank Kimmel right behind him. Craig Ghost in the 81.
Justin Marks down to the inside of Patrick Shelter as Craig Ghost goes for second over Frank Kimmel into the tunnel turn.
Chad Finley in the 29 running in the 4th spot. Patrick Shelter in the 60 is 5th. So they fan back out again after they've gone through the tunnel turn. Justin Marks in that 32. Now we see Patrick Shelter trying to get to the inside of Finley.
Now you can get down there. There's plenty of room, but there's more grip up there where Chad Finley is.
And momentum is key coming through 3. Once you've got that momentum and coming down this extremely long straightaway, you can make passes like we're seeing right now with Justin Marks.
Yeah, Justin Marks had the momentum, pulled to the inside of Patrick Shelter. Let's see if he can beat him down into turn number 1. 200 miles an hour, hard on the brakes into 1.
Side by side through turn number 1. Justin Marks has it hooked up as he tries to go by Finley as well.
Great run through the center of the corner. He was able to get into the throttle quicker than the 29 car of Chad Finley.
Justin Marks on the inside, Chad Finley on the outside. What makes the tunnel turn so difficult?
You come down there at about 100 and 185 miles an hour, and all you're looking at is the wall. That's such a sharp turn down there. You have to really time it right, turn your car, and then get back in the throttle almost before you get to the apex of the corner. But you're looking straight at a wall when you come down that straightaway.
Coming out of turn number 3, Patrick Shelter looks to have the momentum now as he has gotten back by Justin Marks. Trying to reel in that 29 of Finley. A lot of damage to the right front of the 14 of Nick Igdalski. That's not the way he wanted to start this race.
And when we talk about the speeds and how fast they go down the straightaways here, you can see he's crippled right now. The aerodynamics on that car very much crippled, losing positions.
23 of Brian Tyler goes by. Nick Igdalski again. Wendy had mentioned earlier this was a dream to be able to run in the ARCA race here at Pocono, and it looks like more of a nightmare. The start for Nick Igdalski.
Yeah, he's going to pull to the inside, more than likely have to come to pit road for some damage repair.
Justin Marks with a good run, looked as though he was going to challenge that 60 of Patrick Sheltra.
Patrick is trying to make the bottom of the racetrack work for him through turn number 3.
Little slide coming out of turn 3. That doesn't slow his momentum down as he's able to pull away from that 32 of Justin Marks. And pulling away is Mikey Kyle. Pulling away from the field out front. Craig Ghost trying to chase. He's a half a second behind him. Then Frank Kimmel running third. Finley and Sheltra rounding out the top 5.
3 wide. Look at Steve Arpin on the outside of Joey Coulter. Going to pull up side by side with Tim George in the 31 car. Steve Arpin's car got real loose qualifying. That's why he qualified back in the 14th position.
Steve Arpin third in our point standings coming into this race. Tom Hessert in the 77 was on pit road. He's actually going to be black flagged for speeding coming off of pit road. So that's going to be a problem he'll have to deal with. Wendy, what else is he dealing with?
Yeah, originally it was throttle issues for Tom Hessert. He came into this race 4th, as you mentioned, Rick, and it's only going to get worse for Hessert with his penalty to come back down pit road again. They had put the hood up, they took the airbox off, they had made some adjustments with the throttle. He was going back out there trying to get back up to speed before he got that penalty, so some more problems for Tom Hessert. The points are definitely going to be shaken after today.
Well, and Joey Coulter's having problems. He was tied for 9th coming into this race, and he's already on pit road on lap 5.
Yeah, definitely unscheduled pit stop for Joey Coulter. This is one of the places that you can come down pit road and not lose a lap. It takes so long to get around here, but looks like he may have some problems here, Jim.
Indeed he does, Phil. They think he has a flat left rear tire, so they're changing out the Hoosier rubber underneath the Ripon Energy Fuel Chevrolet. Tied for 9th in points, but they're very high off of the race at Toledo. They finished 2nd and were within laps of winning their first race in the ARCA Racing Series. Now he almost kills it coming out pit road under green. Coulter just 2 tires on the left side. He's down and away.
He does lose a lap, though. Unfortunately, the leader's going to go by to his outside. There goes Mikey Kyle right there.
Craig Ghost. We saw damage earlier on the 14 of Nick Igdalski. We'd like to show you how that happened.
Look at right of your screen.
Hessert looks as though he's trying to come onto pit road, so he's slowing down, and so to avoid him,
Steve Fox in the 28 car actually came to the inside, and then the 14 absolutely had nowhere to go, Wendy.
Yeah, Nick Igdalski has a rough start to his original dream start here at Pocono Raceway. He had nothing to do, according to the radio communication, of the damage on the right front. There was nothing they could do, is what the spotter reported back to Nick. You could hear the frustration in his voice. They tried to calm him down by just saying, listen, we can get this damage fixed, get you back out there, and still be semi-competitive for the day, as he's come to a stop and the team is working on that right front damage.
Semi-competitive is not what Nick Igdalski likes to hear, but how about this battle? Chad McCumbee just in front of Steve Arpin.
Yeah, Steve Arpin has chased down Chad McCumbee. Chad started in the 10th position. Steve Arpin qualified 14th. Both cars well into the top 10 now.
And working their way toward the front, but they've got a ways to go to catch up to these two. Out front, Mikey Kyle and Craig Ghost. About 7/10 of a second separates Mikey Kyle and Craig Ghost, running 1 and 2 in the Messina Wildlife Animal Stopper 200 from Pocono Speedway.
Mikey Kyle has picked up where he left off, qualifying. Just a great side-by-side battle. They're still at it. Steve Arpin goes around the outside of Chad McCumbee to take over the 7th position.
That's that 7th spot that we saw earlier that Steve Arpin was trying to get. Now he's taking it away from Chad McCumbee. As you mentioned, Arpin starting back in the 14th spot, so he's making his way up. Already passed 7 cars and on his way up to the front.
And remember, Steve Arpin is a teammate to Mikey Kyle, our leader right now in the 25 car.
The Venerini Motorsports have had success in the ARCA Racing Series this year and looking to continue that success. Trying to get by Justin Marks, who we saw at the beginning of the run looked very good, and it looks as though maybe these longer runs aren't going to work so well for Justin Marks in that 32.
Yeah, Steve Arpin's car looks really good right now.
We talk about a fuel run being anywhere from 35 to 40 laps. Closing in on about a third of that.
He got a little bit wide right there through the center of the corner. We heard him pedal the throttle a little bit, but still had enough momentum to pull up beside the 32 of Justin Marks, and looks like may not quite clear him getting down into the tunnel.
Here comes Chad McCumbee trying to use that momentum that Arpin had built up.
See if Arpin does a little crossover, moves to the inside. He does. Remember, he's going to be down in the less grippy part of the racetrack here on the bottom.
Arpin's going to be able to clear the 32, but the one of Chad McCumbee is going to have to wait until he gets out of turn number 3. So Justin Marks looks like he's slowing down. Wendy, is there something wrong with the car?
Nothing wrong with Justin Marks' car, but he was really excited coming into today's race. It's unfortunate he's getting past, but I know it's a matter of just time before he gets the speed back in his car. No complaints from Justin Marks just yet. Keep in mind, guys, he lost the points lead after Toledo. He was running with 5 laps to go, got a flat tire, and that's exactly how he lost the points lead after Toledo's race coming into it, and Patrick Sheltra took over from Justin Marks. But Steve Arpin also battling for that championship, who just passed Justin Marks. It is going to be a hard-fought battle to the end of the ARCA season.
Patrick Sheltra took over the point lead after Toledo. That was the last race that was run for the ARCA Racing Series, and a young man by the name of Chris Buescher was the winner at Toledo.
There's a good view of Steve Arpin there going in turn number 3, and there's our second place car, Craig Gose, going right by the start finish line. So quite a large lead for these two over our 7th place car, 6th place car of Steve Arpin.
About half a lap here at Pocono, which is 1.25 miles. This is a 2.5 mile racetrack, but absolutely not like any other 2.5 mile racetracks that the ARCA Racing Series runs on, or any of the stock cars run on. You would say, well, Daytona is a 2.5 mile racetrack, but a completely different beast.
There's our second place car, Craig Gose. Remember, from the very potent Eddie Sharp stable. Eddie won the championship last year with Justin Lofton. Craig Gose was in his first year in ARCA Racing Series action. This year he's really come into his own. He's already had 2 runner-up finishes this year, as well as a 4th place finish at Talladega, and got a little bit sideways off of turn number 3.
Craig Gose currently 7th in the point standings for the ARCA Racing Series.
Remember, no restrictors on these engines. About 850 horsepower in these ARCA engines.
Working through the tightest turn number 1. And again, Mikey Kyle, his comment to Jim Trado earlier today was, I just want to keep the fenders on. How do I stay out front? Well, I make sure that this car is in one piece and still operating the way it was when I won final practice and also won that pole award.
There's Craig Gose's 2 finishes, runner-up finishes this year at Salem and at Texas, 2 completely different racetracks. Salem, a high-banked half mile, and Texas, that very, very fast 1.5 miles.
Very, very fast is how you can describe the 25 of Mikey Kyle out in front of this field and continuing to dominate. Speed's coverage of the Rolex Sports Car Series, 6 hours at the Glen, continues tonight. Don't miss the dramatic finish from Watkins Glen, live tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern, only on Speed.
They're going to have a relatively inexperienced driver in that field as well.
Isn't he a stock car driver?
Yeah, maybe he may have won 4 championships.
Made a name for himself in the Sprint Cup Series.
Yeah, Jimmy Johnson. I know he's excited about doing that at Redwood. He said he was really excited, and he'll give that car a good ride, I'll guarantee. He wanted to run the full racetrack at Watkins Glen. Obviously been there a lot of times to run the small version that the Cup cars run, but he's going to run the full version with the boot.
Patrick Sheltra had been leading that one of Chad McCumbee around the racetrack. Here comes McCumbee now on the inside. That's a battle for the 6th position. McCumbee and Sheltra door to door as they go into turn 3.
Chad's going to turn it down right to the bottom of the race. Ooh, Patrick got a little bit loose up there.
Trying to keep that momentum up. It looks as though McCumbee's going to get the edge at the stripe.
Check out that blue car right behind this battle right here. That is Rob Brent. Rob started in the 33rd position, had an oil line come off qualifying, had to take a provisional, but already moved up into the top 10 in 8th. Jim, he's had a pretty good day so far.
Well, he missed his mark. He wanted to be in the top 15 by lap 2. It took him till lap 7 to get to 11th, and you can see the charge he's had. Again, his crew chief is Dave Liner. Success here. They've also got on the spotter stand Jeff Burton's spotter on Sundays, Rocky Ryan. They're very proud of what he does, and they talked before the race. He said, what corner should we compromise on? And the crew chief said, my driver, Rob Brent, loves this racetrack. He thinks turn 2 is the key. He said, as long as he can get me through the tunnel turn, I'm good. And the crew on the radio is saying he's doing really good through the tunnel turn. So the team very happy right now for Rob Brent.
He's chasing down Patrick Sheltra. Right now he ran about 0.2 of a second faster that last lap than Patrick Sheltra did.
McCumbee, you see the distance between the 1 and the 60 now. That's how much McCumbee has been able to pull in front of that 60 of Patrick Shelton. We see Rob Brenton, the 36, making his move as well. Long punt straight away. The 32 of Justin Marks.
That was the 11 right there of Brian Silas. He's up into the top 10. There's Justin Marks right now being shown in the 10th position. There's Tim George in the RCR car running 11th right now. Tim had a great corner right there. Look how much ground he's going to gain on Justin Marks through the tunnel turn.
Tim George Jr. trying to break into that top 10. Justin Marks has the 10th spot.
Tim had his best career finish at Talladega a couple of races ago, finished 3rd.
Justin Marks had a very good season up to this point. 11th at Daytona. Then Palm Beach got the first win for Justin Marks. Followed that up with a 3rd at Salem and a 4th at Texas, as we see the 32 of Justin Marks having his hands full now with Tim George Jr.
Yeah, Tim George jumps on the throttle and gets in front of the 32 of Justin Marks, and right behind him is Chase Mattioli. We talked about Nick Adalski and how much he wanted to be here. Well, Chase is his first cousin, and he spent his whole life at this racetrack as well. This is a new team for him. This is the Rulo brothers team that Chris Buescher won Toledo with. Chase moved over to that team after Toledo and have given that car a great run right now, being shown in the 12th position, and going to challenge Justin Marks here in just a moment for the 11th spot.
Justin Marks dropping back. Marks started this race in the 5th position. Now he's back in 11th, almost into the wall there. Very difficult exit to turn 3 for Justin Marks, and Chase Mattioli can't capitalize on that and get by him.
Chase just finished his sophomore year at Fordham University in New York, so now he can concentrate on racing this summer.
Chase Mattioli in the 17, just behind that 32 of Justin Marks. As that battle continues for 11th, Mikey Kyle has 3 seconds on Craig Goss. Mikey Kyle, after winning the pole by 0.8 of a second, dominates here in Pocono. Welcome back to Long Pond, Pennsylvania, and Pocono Raceway for the Messina Wildlife Animal Stopper 200 on speed. Out in front, it is Mikey Kyle. Mikey Kyle looking for his first win in the ARCA Racing Series. He has dominated this from the drop of the green flag, actually from the time qualifying started. He has been out front.
There's Craig Goss trying to get win number 1 in his career. 2 runner-up finishes already this year we talked about. Wendy, what's going on with Craig Goss's day?
Craig is a little tight off. He said his car starts to walk up the racetrack. He can't keep it on the bottom quite like he wants to. Obviously, Craig has a fast race car. He's been in the top 2 all day long. I know on the next round of pit stops, they will make those adjustments for that tight off condition.
Running in the 3rd spot is the 44 of Frank Kimmel. Now, he has 74 wins in the ARCA Racing Series, but his last one came at Salem in 2008. So it has been a long stretch since Frank Kimmel has been to victory lane.
I think they're all the drivers in the field, if you add up all their wins, besides Frank, it's 16th. And he's won 74.
74 wins for Frank Kimmel. Wendy?
Frank really likes this racetrack. They're racing a chassis they call Carry. It was last race when we were in Texas when he finished 6th. Right now, Frank Kimmel has been a little bit tight on the start, but really tight in the middle coming off. Those adjustments is what Frank Kimmel wants to work on our round of pit stops.
Running in the 4th spot is the 29 of Chad Finley out of Lansing, Michigan. He started this race in the 4th position and has been able to hold on to that spot.
Yeah, Chad Finley, as a 17-year-old, got the pole last year at Rockingham. Ran 4 races last year, had 3 of those in the top 10. Has another great run going here, Jim.
Indeed he does. He's got a lot of veteran experience with him, including Penske drivers. Brad Keselowski, his car owner, They both climbed in with Kurt Busch yesterday and got a ride in a pace car for a few laps and put him up to speed, as the driver told me, within 3 laps. Right now, Chad Finley, currently running in 4th, has radioed in that his car is getting tighter and tighter, not getting any better. He's holding position, but Wayne Setterton and the boys will get him figured out here as the 29 of Finley, again, a top 5 run, just like he had at Texas before a tire issue. So Finley, when he's in the ARCA race, certainly is a contender.
And the guy who has moved the most since the start of this race has been the gentleman in 5th. Driver number 36, that's Rob Brent. Rob Brent had his career best finish earlier this year at Palm Beach, where he came home in the 2nd spot.
Rob has done a terrific job here. There's Allie Owens. Allie made an unscheduled pit stop early. Had an accident in qualifying. Started at the back of the field. Has already made a pit stop. Rob Brent now going to make his way by Allie Owens, and he has the 55 of Steve Arpin, our 6th place car, right behind him.
Steve Arpin out of Canada is running in the 6th spot, and Jim Trado with more.
Well, Steve Arpin is a dirt track racer at heart. In 2008, he was the USAC Silver Crown Rookie of the Year. Right now, he's trying to get that car around all 3 corners. He said the car is tight going into turn 1 and a little free in the center. But again, Arpin said he's now changing his line to try to make sure this car can handle it until they get the chance to make the adjustments to get that 55 Mike's Hard Lemonade Toyota where he wants it.
There's the 1 car of Chad McCumbee. Chad has made his way up in the 7th position. Chad is a former winner here, Wendy. He won back in 2007.
Yeah, and everyone remembers that victory when he was racing for Petty Racing also that weekend in the Cup Series. Chad McCumbee has 3 starts in ARCA this year. Unfortunately, he's had some parts failures happen throughout the season, so he doesn't have the finishes yet to back it up. Chad is racing tomorrow in the Cup race. He'll start 39th in the 64 car, so Chad McCumbee is definitely getting some much-needed experience for tomorrow's race.
Brian Silas just behind him in the 11 car, running in the 8th position. Brian Silas driving for Andy Hillenberg, who owns the Rockingham Speedway. Another stop for the ARCA Racing Series.
You can see his best career finish. He had 1 top 5, and that was at Rockingham. He finished 4th last year there. Brian Silas continues to get better and better and better each and every year that he races with Andy Hillenberg in this fast track racing team.
Just behind Brian Silas, our points leader coming into this race, the 60 of Patrick Sheltra. Patrick started off very strong and then has dropped back. So Sheltra currently running in the 9th spot. Wendy?
Patrick came into this race with a Toyota, and it's the first time the racing chassis number 13 when it was switched over from a Dodge to a Toyota. In fact, they never even got a chance to shake down the car until they arrived here at Pocono. They've learned a lot about this chassis. Right now, he can't get off the corner. He needs some forward bite. He called it being junk in the turns and compared it to feeling like he's on ice.
Chase Mattioli, that 17 car, just got by Patrick Sheltra for the 9th position. The last 2 races, Chase has had his career best finish, and right now he's headed towards his first ever top 10, doing a terrific job in his first start ever for the Rulo brothers.
One of the longest green flag runs we've seen at Pocono Raceway. We're on lap 27. Again, we talked about the fuel window being between 35 and 40, so I'm guessing a lot of nervous crew chiefs are getting ready for green flag pit stops here in the ARCA Racing Series. Again, everyone chasing the 25 of Mikey Kyle out front. Tomorrow, NASCAR Race Day powers into Pocono. We'll talk to Kurt Busch and his crew chief, Steve Addington, live. Plus, halfway to the chase, we'll tell you which 12 drivers will battle for the championship. NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot, live from Pocono tomorrow at 10 Eastern, only on Speed. Mikey Kyle still holding on to the top spot. We're hearing rumors that Craig Ghost may be coming on to pit road soon.
Patrick Sheltra is on pit road right now, and Craig Ghost right behind him. The 81 car, 2nd place car, is on pit road right now.
Let's go to Wendy.
And the 60 car of Patrick Sheltra is one of the first guys to get to pit road. He's going to make some adjustments for his very loose race car now. The Craig goes to the 81 who was in 2nd, elected to come down pit road. They also are making some adjustments on that right rear side with wedge adjustments. He has been very loose. 4 tires, a solid stop so far for the 81.
We're continuing on the 81 of Craig Ghost. 4-tire stop for that car. He's been very strong. The only car stronger is the one out front, Mikey Kyle, and he's been strong since we started practice.
Yeah, Craig was within a couple seconds of him, and when he made his green flag pit
pit stop. So right now, Craig would love to see this race go green a little bit longer till the field will recycle and everybody make their green flag pit stops.
That is the gamble, coming in a little bit earlier if caution would come out. And now we see Mikey Kyle in traffic. He's already gone by that 5 of Bobby Gerhart. We talked about him at the top of the show, a Pennsylvania native that has started 41 races here at Pocono but hasn't been to victory lane.
Hey, these are some good cars right now that he's lapping. Frank Kimmel, the 44 cars on pit road.
And we go down to Wendy.
Frank Kimmel tells his brother Bill and crew chief, you need to free it up for me. It's been tight in the middle. They are going to make that wedge adjustment on the right rear side. 4 tires also. It was a gambling game for a lot of these cars. How long were they going to go? Our leader, Mikey Kyle, has elected to stay out the longest, it looks like, and quite a surprise when we saw him come down pit road at lap 29 for a lot of these. Patrick Shelter does have a flat right rear tire, guys. Patrick Shelter has a flat.
And he's going into turn number 1 right now. There we see Mikey Kyle going across the stripe.
He's right behind Tim George. Right now, Tim George being shown in the 9th position.
So 9 cars on the lead lap. And there's Chad McCumbee slow on the racetrack. Now it looks like he's trying to get it back up to speed, but slow on the racetrack is Chad McCumbee.
Tough break for Chad. He worked his way up into the top 10. He was running 6th last time they crossed the start-finish line.
So McCumbee on the access road now. And the 36 of Rob Brent makes his way onto pit road. While he's doing that, Brian Silas behind him in the 11 also coming onto pit road for his stop. Rob Brent has to make the long trek all the way down toward the front of pit road for his service.
Rob has worked his way up into the top 5 after starting back in the 33rd position. Looks like pretty routine pit work right now. I don't see any wedge wrenches in the rear window. Could be an air pressure adjustments. The 17 of Chase Mattioli has also been on pit road and made his pit stop. Justin Marks, the 32 car, on pit road right now as well.
Rob Brent, a good stop. Back out onto the racetrack. 94 of Jason Basham also on the pit road and back off again. There's Justin Marks.
Construct Court Toyota out of the Wintron stable.
Justin Marks down and away from his pit stall. Oh, and can Chad McCumbee make it all the way around? A very long racetrack to work around, and he's on the access road, but if he does block the access road, I would think that the ARCA racing officials would have to stop to get him off of the track.
You see right behind our leader Mikey Kyle is Tim George. That is a battle right now for the lucky dog position if the caution were to come out right now, and it looks like it will, because I don't know, Chad McCumbee is still rolling ever so slowly, but whoever is in front of this battle would get the Aaron's lucky dog.
Right now only 4 cars on the lead lap. That's because Mikey Kyle has not come down onto pit road for his service. As we're closing in. Oh, and Steve Arpin slow on the racetrack.
I think these guys are running out of gas.
Steve Arpin potentially running out of gas. Chad McCumbee, he would have ran out of gas early if that's the case. As we see Chad McCumbee almost coming to a stop. That is at the entrance of pit road. The ARCA racing officials are going to have to throw a caution if he's not able to get this one going. The 55 also slow. Jim, what's going on with him?
They thought they could go to lap 36, but that car is out of fuel. Caution's out, and they're celebrating in the leader's pit.
I would imagine so. I think we only have about 3 cars right now on the lead lap. We'll get an Aaron's lucky dog, but and it looked like Bobby Gerhart may have gotten in front of Tim George to be in the position to get that Aaron's lucky dog.
Yeah, there are 3 cars scored on the lead lap. Mikey Kyle, Chad Finley, and Craig Gose. You see Steve Arpin making his way onto pit road, but not before the caution flag flew.
That's when your pit strategy works. You've got the fastest car and you have the best luck. How about that?
You don't normally see celebration for a caution, but in this case it is merited.
Yeah, well, absolutely, and no accident, no incident. Nobody had any trouble other than obviously running out of fuel or whatever happened to Chad McCumbee. And we're getting a report that indeed Bobby Gerhart was able to get by Tim George to be in that spot to get the Aaron's lucky dog. So Bobby Gerhart will get a free pass back to the lead lap.
Has made it work. Bobby Gerhart raced his way to the point where he was eligible for the Aaron's Lucky Dog.
And he may be out of gas.
And as soon as he gets the Aaron's Lucky Dog, well, he'll have to come onto pit road and top it off with fuel.
Yeah, and if he comes in too early, he may be, he may be ruled as a penalty, and he will lose his Aaron's Lucky Dog if that's the case. He is going to make it to pit road. He's on the end of pit road right now.
And another car that has stalled as exiting pit road.
Is that the 17 of Chase Mattioli? Oh, wow. What a horrible break for that young man that's having such a great run.
Was having such a great run. Again, the reason for the caution coming out was the one car of Chad McCumbee stalled at the entrance to pit road. The ARCA racing officials decided that they would have to assist that car to get it into its stall, and so the caution flag flew. When it flew, there were only 3 cars on the lead lap. Take a look at that. The drive shaft coming off of one of the cars.
I wouldn't doubt that might be Chase Mattioli's drive shaft right there. And if that's the case, that will put him in the garage for a good while to replace that. And that, that happens sometimes when you're in a hurry. When you leave pit road, you dump the clutch and the wheels grab and something has to give. And sometimes it's an axle, sometimes it's a drive plate, and sometimes it's a drive shaft.
Yeah. And so the problems for the 17 of Chase Mattioli. And you see the hook is going to be turned around, and they'll pull him back into the garage. Welcome back. Mikey Kyle on pit road. Pit road has been opened, and Jim Trado is awaiting our race leader.
The only call is 4,700 gear. Let's keep this a routine stop. He'll bring the Sears Auto Center Toyota down pit road. No changes. 4 tires and fuel. They're trying to slow things down to go fast. He's led each and every one of the laps today. Only 11 laps thus far this year was he at the point, and that was all at one race at Palm Beach in the rain. This car has been great. Joey Logano pitted on lap 37 a year ago to win after leading 52 laps. Kyle, in similar domination fashion, is dominating now on pit road as well as he takes the car off the jacks. 4 tires and fuel, no changes for the race leader.
He's not even going to lose the lead, I don't think. There's a 29 right there, Chad Finley. Brad Keselowski owns Chevrolet. Wayne Sedrington, the crew chief on that car.
And Craig Ghost didn't come onto pit road, and he was the other car that was on the lead lap. It was Mikey Kyle, Chad Finley, and Craig Ghost. And Ghost had stopped earlier prior to the caution coming out.
That may have been a situation where he was able to stay on the lead lap because it takes so long to get around this racetrack.
Messina Wildlife Animal Stopper 200 continues on speed. Stay with us. Coverage of the ARCA Racing Series on Speed is brought to you by Burger King. Remind you to have it your way. By Ansel, for over 100 years, the world leader in hand protection. And by #1 rated Scratch Doctor. Keep your car looking great with Scratch Doctor. So the leader of the race is Craig Ghost.
Yeah, Craig
because he stayed out.
He stayed out. He pitted back on lap number 29, decided to forego this caution flag to come in. I'm sure his guys figured, hey, we're going to have to stop again anyway. Why not keep the lead while we have it? You see the cars that are lined up in front of him were cars that stayed on the racetrack, and we're in between the leader, Mikey Kyle, and Craig Ghost. So right now, a few of those cars are on the tail end of the lead lap. If they could catch a quick caution, stay out in front of Craig Ghost or Mikey Kyle, then they will get their laps back. So right now, these guys like Tim George, Frank Kimmel, people like that, are really hoping, Rob Brent, hoping for a quick caution flag and them stay in front of our leader.
Is it a mistake for Craig Ghost not to come back onto pit road and get fuel?
Well, I think they figure they're going to have to stop again anyway.
Green flag back in the air. Again, your race leader is the 81 of Craig Ghost. Out in front of the field right now at the tail end of the lead lap is that 44 of Frank Kimmel.
Patrick Shelter pulls to the inside of Brian Silas.
3 wide going into turn number 1.
See Mikey Kyle on the outside, the white number 25, Chad Finley the 29. Those are the only 2 cars that are on the lead lap and not on the tail end of the lead lap like Frank Kimmel and some of these other cars. Oh, Brian Silas very, very slow.
Problems.
Off of turn 1.
Yes, coming off of turn number 1 and down the long punch straightaway. It looks as though that car is not coming up to speed, so everyone is avoiding.
Done a pretty good job of avoiding him so far. This is one of the racetracks that is very difficult, as we saw with Chad McCumbee. If you run out of gas or you have a problem on the other end of the racetrack, it's extremely difficult to coast all the way around here. Chad McCumbee wasn't able to do it. Brian Silas may have enough speed to do it, but it may be doubtful.
Out front for the lead. Here comes that 25 of Mikey Kyle trying to get by the 81. He does it. So Mikey Kyle back in front.
Greg Ghost going to stay right with him. Going to look to the inside. Mikey Kyle said, I need the inside. I need to get by this 31 of Tim George. Look at the gap that Mikey Kyle has opened up over Craig Ghost, Wendy.
And you guys explained it very well up in the booth, exactly the situation. 3 cars on the lead lap. It was just as confusing for the crew chiefs, the drivers, and the teams here on pit road. Craig Ghost was explained exactly the situation and knew he had to be smart on this restart, knew he had lapped cars in front of him, and it's he and Mikey Kyle right now battling for that position. Rick, you had talked about why did they come to pit road, and Phil, you were exactly right. They know that everybody has to make one more stop during this race. Since they had pitted at lap 29, they were going to wait, and that's why a lot of those cars opted not to come back down pit road.
I'll tell you, they're having a difficult time getting by the 31 of Tim George.
Yeah, Tim George Jr. actually has some damage to the right side of that race car, and we see Mikey Kyle trying to look to the inside now as they come out of turn number 1.
While he's doing that, Craig Ghost was looking to the inside of him. Great battle up here for the lead.
So Mikey Kyle now has 3 car lengths between himself and Craig Ghost, and the 81 goes hard left turn as they go through the tunnel turn. That's your top 2 on the racetrack. Mikey Kyle and Craig Ghost running 1 and 2. Again, we have 3 cars that were on the lead lap when the caution came out. We have 5 cars that are also on the lead lap, but they're at the very tail end of the lead lap. 4 cars that are on the tail end of the lead lap, trying to stay in front of that 25.
And the 11 of Brian Silas did make it to pit road, so that will not necessitate a caution flag.
Although he's not rolling very quickly on pit road.
Probably he may not have enough speed to get to his pit, but he is on pit road, and that will not bring out a caution flag.
Yeah, his crew has run to his car, and they're going to push him to his pit stall. But you see the top 2 still competitive, and they've been this way since the drop of the green flag.
One thing we didn't mention is that we rescinded the lucky dog for Bobby Gerhart, because as we thought, when he ran out of gas, he pitted before pit road was open, so he actually lost the Aaron's lucky dog.
Did not have the opportunity to get that lap back. And how about Craig Ghost? A strong charge now as they come through turn number 3. Craig Ghost is looking to challenge that 25 once again for the lead.
You know, we ran about 35 laps here before that first caution flag round of pit stops. Craig Ghost was within a couple tenths of a second when he made his pit stop on lap number 29. So he's been able to match Mikey Kyle's speed fairly closely. And right now it looks like the guys have made some adjustments. That 81 car is better than it was.
Craig Ghost trying to hang on to the back bumper of that 25 of Mikey Kyle. Mikey Kyle started this race off extremely strong. He led 39, or has led 39 laps of this race. The other 4 have been led by the 81 of Craig Ghost.
It's a good illustration of the draft. These cars running these kind of speeds will really utilize that draft. Craig Ghost able to close in a little bit at the end of the straightaways by virtue of the draft.
Mikey Kyle punching the hole in the air, and Craig Ghost the benefactor of that. They're running that preferred line through turn number 3, the little bit newer pavement, and down the long straightaway they go. Stay with us here on Speed. And welcome back to Pocono Raceway. Out front, Mikey Kyle being chased by the 81 of Craig Ghost. We've seen a lot of that today. Let's take a look at our Messina mid-race recap.
Mikey Kyle at the very start of the race jumps out from his pole position to clear Frank Kimmel before they get to the start finish line.
Early in the going, though, problems for the 77 of Tom Hessert. He slows. That creates a problem for the 14 of Nick Igdalski.
Our first caution is caused by Chad McCumbee, who ran out of fuel, was not able to get back to pit road while this caution flag was going on. Chase Mattioli, who had raced his way up into the top 10, breaks a drive shaft on pit road.
Other problems on pit road. The 10 of Ed Pompey was penalized for that violation. Sorry, running over the air hose.
Right after the restart, Brian Silas has some sort of a problem off of turn number 1.
Then the lead change. Mikey Kyle, after Craig Gose had stayed out during that caution and took the lead, Mikey Kyle takes it right back. So our leader is Mikey Kyle. We've had 2 lead changes. Our average speed over 140 miles an hour. Just 1 caution and 6 cars are out of the race. You saw 6 cars on the lead lap. A few of those are racing to stay on. 3 of them to be exact. Stay with us. And welcome back to the Messina Wildlife Animal Stopper 200 from Pocono Raceway. There's your top 2, Mikey Kyle and Craig Gose. Battle for 5th, Rob Brent, Patrick Sheltra. Rob Brent taking that 5th spot away from Sheltra.
And these cars are right in front of our leaders. They're actually 53 seconds behind right now. If you look back, there's our leaders, Mikey Kyle and the 81 of Craig Gose. Those guys are desperately trying to stay on the lead lap. They're hoping for a caution flag that would allow them to come all the way around, pull right up behind these 2 leaders. Frank Kimmel, another one of those right there going by. He's in the 4th position right now.
Frank Kimmel trying to stay in front of that 25, as is the 36 and the 60. Again, they're at the tail end of the lead lap, trying to race their way and stay on the lead lap. That would make it 6 cars on the lead lap.
There's our 2 leaders right there, Mikey Kyle and 81. We saw the battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th. The only other car on the lead lap that we didn't see was the 29 of Chad Finley. Right now, he's being shown 17 seconds behind our leader.
Justin Marks is running in the 7th spot. He is in the number 32. See him running just in front of that 31 of Tim George Jr. He's running in the 8th position. Joey Coulter in the 16 is 9th.
There's Steve Arpin. Remember, Steve ran out of fuel. He's being shown a couple laps down right now in that 55 car.
Dakota Armstrong in the 22 rounds out the top 10, and those 4 drivers are all 1 lap down.
Chad Finley just went by our camera view right there. Again, being shown 17 seconds behind. There's Bobby Gerhardt. Would have been on the lead lap had he not run out of gas when the caution came out. Right now being shown in the 11th position.
Just outside of the top 10, Bobby Gerhardt again, a Pennsylvania native looking to find a win at this racetrack, but hasn't had success. All of Bobby Gerhardt's wins have come at super speedways.
Frank Kimmel has had some success. He's had 34 previous starts here, won 3 times.
You see the gap between Kimmel and race leader Mikey Kyle.
Craig Gose able to stay right with him, Rick.
Yeah, Craig Gose running in 2nd, and Frank Kimmel is in 4th, and that was the gap that we just took a look at. There you see Kimmel is going into turn number 1, and the 2 white cars just behind are 1 and 2.
Craig Gose able to run about 1/10 of a second faster that lap than Mikey Kyle. There's Rob Brent, Patrick Sheltra. Remember, those guys are running 5th and 6th, also trying to stay on that lead lap.
Patrick Sheltra currently your point leader in the ARCA Racing Series, running the number 60 car. And he would be the next one to go a lap down if Mikey Kyle is able to get by that 60. Mikey Kyle again trying to eliminate his competition by putting him a lap down. We'll see if he can do it to Patrick Sheltra. Monday night, it all comes down to this as the greatest performers go head-to-head in the Fast Track to Fame Battle of Champions. See who walks away as NASCAR's next great superstar. Don't miss the Fast Track to Fame Battle of Champions Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, only on Speed. Tell you who is battling as a champion right now is Mikey Kyle in that 25, and Patrick Sheltra has got to be thinking, please someone see debris on the racetrack or some type of a caution so I can stay on the lead lap and stay in contention.
Yeah, Mikey Kyle ran about 1/2 second a lap faster that time than Patrick Sheltra. Just a matter of a lap or 2 and he will be right on Patrick Sheltra.
Jim, what's happening with our race leader?
Well, just about this race car itself, I asked this crew chief, Kevin Reed, this morning, hey, is this car just tucked away for Pocono because Joey did such a great job with it last year? He said, no, as a matter of fact, this car was crashed at Chicagoland by Steve Arpin last year, and while leading at Michigan, Jesse had a problem, and I forgot Jesse's last name. Darn it, come on now, I'm trying to get this right. Part-time racer here, but Veterese had a very good race car with this piece. It's not been held just for Pocono, but they also tested it with at Michigan. They were fastest last week, so in a week's time on Friday, they look for the same domination. But this car, they've had no changes whatsoever. They're keeping his pace, keeping his intervals, and as the crew chief said, he pointed both fingers at his temples before the race today. He said, I've got to keep my driver clued in and focused on the finish.
I would have loved to have jumped in and told you it was Jesse Smith, Jim. I knew you were struggling down there, and I apologize. Patrick Sheltra struggling right now to stay on the lead lap. There's Justin Marks. Justin now in the 8th spot. Joey Coulter scored just in front of him, and we've seen Marks get a little bit loose coming out of 3 a couple times today.
We sure have. It's hard to get that power down, that 850 horsepower. He was in the 7th position a few laps ago. Joey Coulter, the 16, was able to get by him to be that first car 1 lap down. But if Patrick Sheltra gets passed by Mikey Kyle, then he's going to be the guy in position to get the Aaron's lucky dog.
See the 16 of Joey Coulter.
He's following Steve Arpin, but remember, Steve Arpin is 2 laps down by virtue of running out of fuel during the caution track.
Running on board with Joey Coulter in that 16.
Wendy said he had a season best finish of 2nd at Toledo last time out for Joey Coulter.
Joey Coulter trying to get by that 55. And here comes a battle for the lead. The 81 of Craig Ghost is able to get by that 25 of Mikey Kyle. So Ghost back in front. Now Mikey Kyle back to the bottom of the racetrack trying to take the position back.
Mikey doesn't want to give up that lead. They're side by side off of 1.
Slower lap traffic has caused Mikey Kyle to choose a different line around this racetrack. That enabled the 81 of Craig Ghost to get by. But just for a moment. Mikey Kyle was scored your race leader at the stripe when they went by.
Patrick Sheltra says, race, guys, race side by side.
Keep that up, boys. And so Mikey Kyle has been able to get back in front of the 81. Here's how he lost the lead.
See, Mikey Kyle goes to the inside of the 33 of Kurt Torrey. It breaks his momentum, and look at the run that Craig Ghost has on the outside. Drives around the outside. Now he's going to drive the inside of Mikey Kyle, and they go side by side down into turn number 1. He actually clears him when they get down there, and then Mikey Kyle fought back and got him off for turn number 1.
Craig Ghost skirts up the racetrack just a bit, and that allowed the 25 of Mikey Kyle to get back in front. Sometimes you're hearing on the front stretch the engines kind of give out a little bit. That's actually the rev limiters that are on these cars.
They're
the ignition systems.
Limited to 8,800 RPMs, and when they hit that, then you hear that breakup.
Mikey Kyle still in front here at Pocono. Next Saturday, the world's toughest trucks head to Michigan, where bragging rights are on the line, because whether you are in a Ford, a Chevy, or a Toyota, only one can claim victory. Don't miss the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series live from Michigan. That's next Saturday at 1:30 Eastern, only on Speed.
Rick, Patrick Sheltra drove back by Mikey Kyle. I don't know if Mikey had a problem getting through the tunnel turn or what. He had no momentum when he exited the tunnel turn, and Patrick Sheltra drove right back by him.
So Patrick Sheltra again trying to stay on the lead lap. He's at the very tail end of the lead lap as you see the 25 of Mikey Kyle all over his back bumper as they go into turn number 1. Again, a long green flag run enabled some drivers to maximize their fuel efficiency, stay on the racetrack, as we see the 36 of Rob Brent going by the 44 of Kimmel.
And that is a battle for the 4th position. Rob Brent takes over the 4th spot. Joey Coulter, remember, was in position to get that Aaron's lucky dog. He is now on pit road.
Going back to the fuel efficiency, we had 3 cars that were able to do it fairly well. Mikey Kyle, Craig Ghost, and Chad Finley. And then we had 4 other cars that were at the tail end of the lead lap that stayed out and were in front of our race leaders. Well, now they're fighting to stay in front of Mikey Kyle. And that would be Patrick Sheltra, Frank Kimmel, and Rob Brent. There's Rob Brent and Frank Kimmel. Again, 4th and 5th. Jim Trado, is there any letting up for the 25 team?
I just thought I'd let you know that Mikey Kyle, just before my last report, was passed in traffic by Craig Ghost. The crew chief, Kevin Regis, came on the radio, said, Mikey, do not worry about that 81. We know he's got to come to pit road. Run your race. So they've gotten back in that helmet with Mikey Kyle and tried to settle him down. Wendy, what's up on your end?
And the spotter for Craig Ghost is Cup Series spotter Lauren Rainier. He has been telling Craig, you keep an eye on Mikey Kyle, you watch where he's weak, and that's when you're going to pounce. You see where Mikey's the weakest, that's where Craig has really been working, and that's slowly catching up to Mikey Kyle. He caught him off guard when Mikey was going through traffic earlier. They know they could get a good run at him. It's just a matter of waiting for the right time. We do know that all these cars have to come down pit road one more time.
We talked about the fuel window being between 35 and 40 laps. We actually saw some cars running out of fuel before we got to lap 30. And so that could be a factor of qualifying. They had to run at least 3 laps during qualifying. So,
and then the warm-up today and the pace laps. So that could be why. Good spirited battle here. Patrick Sheltra desperately trying to stay on that lead lap. Mikey Kyle would love to put him a lap down. Ooh, Patrick shuts the door on him through the tunnel.
Stays in front. That's Patrick Sheltra in the 60. Mikey Kyle in the 25 as they go into turn number 3. The wide sweeping turn here at Pocono. And running up there about 3 lines up is Patrick Sheltra in the 60. Mikey Kyle following in his tire tracks. We'll see if he can get a run down this long straightaway to try to get by that 60 of Sheltra. Again, Sheltra at the tail end of the lead lap.
Remember, it was lap 29 when Craig Ghost made his pit stop. Did not come in during our first and only caution flag. We had a few caution laps, so that's going to help his fuel mileage. But I'd say he's probably, as early as those cars ran out, he's certainly within 7 to 10 laps from coming on pit road under green.
And we're seeing the 81 of Craig Ghost dropping back now. He had been all over the back bumper of the 25 of Mikey Kyle pretty much the extent of this race, and now this is the biggest gap we've seen between 1 and 2 here at Pocono. So Craig Ghost maybe trying to conserve a little fuel to stay on the lead lap with that 25 of Mikey Kyle. Welcome back. Patrick Sheltra still trying to stay alive in front of the 25 of Mikey Kyle. Again, Sheltra on the tail end of the lead lap. Mikey Kyle is your race leader. Craig Ghost running second. The 2 white cars, the 25 and the 81.
Craig ran about a half a second faster that lap than Mikey Kyle, so he really gained on him.
And Mikey Kyle is trying to get by that 60. The 60 may be holding up the 25 just a bit and enabling that 81 of Craig Ghost to reel him back in.
Only 19 laps to go in this race. We know everybody, or at least we feel as though everybody has to make another pit stop, especially without the aid of caution laps. The caution came out. All the leaders came on pit road on lap number 36. And when I talk about all the leaders, we only had 3 cars legitimately in the lead lap, but they pitted on lap number 36.
Right. And Phil, it was a couple years ago that you absolutely swore that a guy couldn't go, I believe at the time it was like 50 laps on 1 tank of fuel, and you said there's no way he's going to be able to make it. Are you going to say that again?
It was Jeremy Clements, and he didn't make it, did he?
No, he got it on turn number 3 and ran out of gas and lost by about 200 yards. But it was a valiant effort. So are you saying Mikey Kyle can't make it?
No, I'm not saying that.
Okay.
We know Craig Ghost has to make another pit stop.
Okay.
But I'm not saying that because, again, remember, they ran 35. He actually pitted on lap number 36, and that's with the fuel out from the qualifying effort and the pace laps and everything.
Ali Owens
left front
tire is down on that race car.
We'll see if that puts any debris on the racetrack. We'll see if the ARCA Racing Series officials may have to bring that caution out to clear that up. Mikey Kyle finally going to get beside of Patrick Sheltra. He may pin him in behind this lap car.
So here comes Mikey Kyle again, trying to put the 60 of Patrick Sheltra a lap down. Now Patrick Sheltra coming into this race is your points leader. So wants to stay on the lead lap, would love to be in contention for a win here at Pocono. And you see how he's being boxed in behind that 58 of Chad Hackenbrock.
Patrick didn't want to get boxed in, but Mikey Kyle said you are going to get boxed in behind him.
A little smoke coming out of the back of the 58.
Ellie Owens, the 15 car, is on pit road right now, so she did make it back with that flat tire.
Ellie Owens on pit road, as you mentioned. We saw a little bit of that blue smoke coming out of the back of the 58. Chad Hockenbrough. There's Mikey Kyle. He was able to get by the 60 of Patrick Sheltra, so that puts Sheltra a lap down. Now Mikey Kyle trying to catch up to the 44 of Frank Kimmel and put him a lap down.
Frank is our 5th place car right now. Only 5 cars on the lead lap. That's how much Frank lacks from going a lap down. If the caution flag were to come out right now, Patrick Sheltra would be in position to get the lucky dogs.
You know, we talked about how the only really competition we've seen for Mikey Kyle today has been the 81 of Craig Ghost, and now Craig Ghost is dropping off the pace. Wendy, what's going on?
Yeah, Rick, we've been following the engine problems, possible engine problems from Craig Ghost. He said the engine feels flat and it sounded a bit funny, and they've watched it the last few laps. Johnny Allen, the crew chief, says it's running too fast to have lost a cylinder. It's worse coming off the turns, but it definitely feels flat to Craig Ghost. They think it could be an exhaust pipe that's broken, possibly a cracked header, so they are continuing to watch that problem for Craig Ghost.
Mikey Kyle, 16 laps remain. Can he make it all the way to the finish? And will he chance it? We're going to find out. Stay with us. Welcome back. Messina Wildlife Animal Stopper 200 here on Speed. It's the 7th race of the ARCA Racing Series season. And it's Mikey Kyle who has been dominant since the drop of the green flag. Only one other car has been out front. That's been the 81 of Craig Ghost. We had a long green flag run to start this race, put a lot of cars a lap down as they were going through green flag pit stops. There were 3 on the lead lap, and a few cars stayed out to stay on the tail end of the lead lap. Now we only have 5 cars on the lead lap, and the 5th one is that 44 of Frank Kimmel coming right at you. Frank Kimmel running 5th. He is at the tail end of the lead lap, and your race leader is just behind him in the 25. Jim Trado.
Well, I just checked in with Kevin Reed, the crew chief on our race leader for Mikey Kyle. I said, are you guys coming? Do you have enough fuel? He said, we're not coming unless there's a caution. So they are planning on staying out.
Yeah, that's not too far-fetched. We're talking about 44 laps with several laps of cautions. So that's not too far-fetched, and I think they have a good shot at maybe making it.
That was convincing. I think they have a good shot of maybe making it. I mean, you went out on a limb before with Jeremy Clement, said there's no possible way he can make it.
Well, I was right.
you absolutely were right. He was 200 yards short. Frank Kimmel makes his way onto pit road now as he saw the 25 of Mikey Kyle coming on. He has made the decision to go down to pit road and have Bill Kimmel service this race vehicle, put fuel in it.
Remember, Frank Kimmel pitted on lap number 30. He did not come in under that caution either, Wendy.
It's fuel only for Frank Kimmel, who's came down pit road running 5th at lap 67. They're making sure they get all the fuel in there. They wipe the grill, and Frank is away.
Just 13 laps to go. Again, Frank Kimmel was a lap down the second he came onto pit road. We'll see if he can just stay 1 lap down. Patrick Sheltra now is the highest scored 1 lap down race car, so he would receive the Aaron's lucky dog if a caution were to come out. And here comes your leader out of turn number 3. That's the 25 of Mikey Kyle crossing the stripe now. Mikey Kyle looking for his first ever win in the ARCA Racing Series. And again, a year ago, this race car, well, we've got problems for the 16 of Joey Coulter. He slows on the racetrack. Could this bring a caution out? You see him working on the starter, trying to get it running.
Trying to get it started. That's a long way from there, Jim, over from the tunnel turn.
They thought they had motor issues 5 laps ago. Now it's ignition issues. He's trying to pop that into the other ignition box, but Joey Coulter again while running 7th. Motor issues, now trying to get that car to refire.
He's still a long way from pit road. Just exited the tunnel turn.
And you can tell that one is not firing up. Just switched ignition. Yeah. And he's not going to make it. Now we're going to see how long will it be before the ARCA Racing Series officials decide to bring out the caution. The 81 of Craig Ghost on pit road now, Wendy.
While many cars said they do have to come down pit road, our leader, Mikey Kyle, said they're not going to come. Craig Ghost comes to a stop. It's going to be 4 tires, fuel, and another track bar adjustment, much of the same adjustment they did early on in the race, which helped Craig so much. They're hoping this track bar adjustment will get him back where he needs to be competitive with the 25. And they do. You can hear the sound of that engine. I don't know if you can hear it over our cameras, but that header pipe, somebody's, do we have caution on the track yet?
Well, we have a spin on turn number 1. It's the 28 of Steve Fox. He is in the grass, and the caution has come out. And so Mikey Kyle still scored your race leader. Craig Ghost is second. Finley third, and Rob Brent fourth, all on the lead lap. Patrick Sheltra is your highest scored non-lead lap car, which would enable Sheltra to get back on the lead lap through the Aaron's Lucky Dog.
A huge break for Craig Ghost. He came in, he got 4 tires.
He's back on the racetrack. If Mikey Kyle comes to pit road, Craig Ghost will have the lead of this race.
That's the 28 again of Steve Fox, the reason for this caution, the second caution of the day, and it comes out with just 10 laps of racing to go.
I think right now that Mikey Kyle has to come to pit road. Patrick Shelter will get the Aaron's Lucky Dog. There's Chad Hackenbrack trying to make his way back towards pit road.
A lot of smoke coming out of that race car as he tries to refire it. Now, Craig Ghost came onto pit road, put fuel in and fresh tires. So that could be very key as far as what Mikey Kyle has to do.
I think he has to come now and put fuel and tires on that car, and Craig Ghost will obviously be able to stay out. So when Mikey Kyle comes to pit road, that will put Craig Ghost in front of him.
You saw the 60 of Patrick Shelter receives the Aaron's Lucky Dog. So he will be back on the lead lap. That will put 5 cars on the lead lap and really a dash to the finish. Mikey Kyle has shown and flexed his muscles today. Now Craig Ghost has talked about the motor being maybe not as fresh as he would hope for the final 10 laps of this race.
You know, Wendy was talking about it. We could actually hear that motor making some noise during that pit stop, and I think Wendy's right. It has a broken header, you know, some sort of an exhaust leak, it sounds like. But he's still able to run fairly well. So I think if Mikey Kyle comes in, gets fresh tires, it may be very difficult for Craig Ghost to hold him off if his engine's not running at full capacity.
Pit road is open, and of course the 25 of Mikey Kyle taking advantage of this second caution of the race. And let's go down trackside to Jim.
Chad Finley's car, they're saying there's no right side bite on that car. So the 2.9 of Finley, the Auto Values Chevrolet, again owned by Brad Keselowski, coming down pit road, just his second start this year. They've now elected to put on tires and fuel. So as Finley comes down pit road as one of the 3 cars that were on lead lap at the initial caution, comes down as one of the 5 cars now with a 4-tire change on that Auto Values Chevrolet. The race leader, Mikey Kyle, also down pit road. They were saying they maybe wanted to go fuel only, but decided to take tires. Very small change. He complained a bit about being tight in turn number 1. That's the only place they had any issues. They're going to put fresh rubber out for the end. He's down and away in the diehard Toyota.
And that's a situation where Mikey Kyle just has to make sure they don't make a mistake on pit road. Don't leave any lug nuts loose. Don't run over your air hose. Don't do something that would hurt what a great performance they've already put in.
There's Rob Brent. He last pitted on lap number 31. I think he may be out of fuel. He's one of the only 5 cars that we're going to have on the lead lap, and he may not even stay on the lead lap.
Might not be able to continue on around to get onto pit road. We see the 16 of Joey Coulter. He's made his way back onto pit road with the assistance of one of the service vehicles.
And that is a helpless feeling for that 36 car of Rob Brent to be out of fuel. He's between the tunnel turn and turn number 3, and it looks like he's just about stalled. And when the pace car goes by him, that will put him a lap down.
Not able to maintain a cautious pace. So he goes a lap down after fighting his way to stay on the lead lap.
That's a very cautious pace he's maintaining right now.
He's being shown as the most cautious pace because he's stopped right now. We've got a great finish building up for this one in the Messina Wildlife Animal Stopper 200. Stay with us here on Speed. Coverage of the ARCA Racing Series on Speed is brought to you by Messina Wildlife Management. Stop animal damage with Messina Wildlife Management. and by Aaron's. Everyone's a lucky dog at Aaron's.
That Patrick Shelter's a lucky dog.
He got a lucky dog. He is a lucky dog. He's back on the lead lap. There are only 4 cars on the lead lap as they cross the start-finish line. That gives us 7 laps of racing remaining from Pocono. The dominant car today has been the 25 of Mikey Kyle. The only one that is contested for the race lead has been the 81 of Craig Gose. And by the way, Craig Gose is in front. Mikey Kyle runs second for this restart.
This may be one of the most important restarts, probably the most important restarts in both Craig Gose's life and Mikey Kyle's life, because a restart may have a lot to do with who's going to end up in victory lane.
And neither one have ever been to victory lane, so we could have another first-time winner in the ARCA Racing Series.
Or Chad Finley.
And
our
Chad Finley.
18-year-old Chad Finley, our third-place car.
The 4th place car is the 60 of Patrick Sheltra. Sheltra has been to victory lane. Matter of fact,
Salem last year, I believe, right?
He was to victory lane at Salem. So now it will all be determined upon the restart. Can Craig Gose keep that machine in front of the 25 of Mikey Kyle? Craig Gose running out front, and the guy calling the shots is with Wendy Venerini.
And that would be Johnny Allen, crew chief over here for Craig Gose. I asked you how you were doing. You said you could be better. Why is that? You're leading with just a few laps to go.
Yeah, I mean, the 25 car's been tough all day, and we've got a broken header pipe or something on the car, and it's a little bit short on power on takeoff. But, I mean, I'd rather have the clean air out front, and Craig's done a great job all day. We'll see what the adjustments here we've done on that last stop, and see if we can't get to victory lane.
All right, good luck to you guys in the 81.
Is it going to be down on power?
It will be a little bit down on power, certainly will.
So in numbers, would we say it's 5 horsepower down? Is it 10 horsepower down?
It's hard to say. It depends on where it's cracked and how bad the crack is. It could be anywhere from 5 to 30 or 40 or 50 even.
Gotcha. So that's what Craig Gose is dealing with right now, and unsure what his race car has got left. Not in the fuel tank because he's been to pit road. They've topped that back off. They have 4 fresh tires, as does the 25 of Mikey Kyle. And the guy calling shots for Mikey Kyle is with Jim Trado.
And Kevin Reed, we get the signal 1 lap to go green. How close were you on that fuel before that caution came out?
We were definitely splitting hairs, but we were feeling like we could get that car. We pitted several laps after the 81. We knew we had to come back, but we thought we were going to be home free there without a caution. This Sears Auto Center die-hard batteries, Toyotas run great all day. We come here with a little bit of vengeance because we've had great cars all year long and been beat up all year long. So we come here and hopefully we can get the job done today.
What'd you put underneath them for these final few laps? What did you change with the tires?
Done a little bit of air pressure, put 1 can of fuel in it and 4 Hoosiers and sent him on his way. It's up to him now.
Roger that. They're done out here in the pit road. They're leaving it up to Mikey Kyle to bring it home for Venturini Motorsports, guys.
Well, and up to this point, he has shown that he does a really good job of being behind the wheel of that race car. Speeds coverage of the Rolex Sports Car Series 6 hours at the Glen continues tonight. Don't miss the dramatic finish from Watkins Glen live tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on Speed.
You know, in the 6 previous races this year that the ARCA Racing Series has run, we've had 4 new winners, 4 first-time winners. Will we see a 5th?
It's highly likely.
I'd say more than highly likely.
Your percentages, man, I would say it's very, very big. Craig Gose, Mikey Kyle, and Chad Finley, 1, 2, and 3.
Remember, Patrick Shelter is also on the lead lap, but because he got there Aaron's lucky dog, he has to start from the back of the pack. So he needs a caution flag to really get up and get in touch with these leaders.
Yeah, to be in contention. We see the lights are off on the pace car. It will make the hard left turn as it gets to pit road. The field is in the hands of Craig Gose in the 81. Green flag back in the air. The final 5 laps of racing from Pocono.
This is really when that power loss is going to show up for Craig Gose.
Mikey Kyle looks to the inside. Will he try to get him in turn number 1? The inside line for Mikey Kyle. Here he goes for the lead.
Remember, both these cars have fresh tires.
A little bit of a wiggle out of the 25 of Mikey Kyle. He holds off, can't make the pass, and they work their way into the tunnel turn. Craig Gose in front of Mikey Kyle.
Every corner that Craig Gose can stay in front of Mikey Kyle gets him that much closer to the end.
Looks as though he does a fine job through the tunnel turn, through turn number 2. Chad Findlay staying right with this group. 1, 2, 3 as they go into turn number 3 here at Pocono.
If these drivers finish this way, 1, 2, 3, that will be career best for all 3 of them.
To the stripe. Craig Gose. 4 laps of racing to go. Looking for his first win in the ARCA Racing Series. Mikey Kyle has been the dominant race car today. Mikey led 67 laps of the 76 that are in the books. The other 9 laps have been led by Craig Gose, who's out front now and stretching his lead out from Mikey Kyle.
We talked about how important that restart was. Craig Gose did a great job, especially if he's underpowered a little bit because of that broken exhaust.
We talked about Eddie Sharp Racing having the champion from a year ago in Justin Lofton, and that is where the 81 car is out of. Eddie Sharp Racing. Looking for his first win is Craig Gose, making his way through turn number 3. Mikey Kyle trying to put together perfect laps to reel him in. The laps are winding down. Just 3 to go from Pocono.
Craig Gose ran the full season last year. There was a question as to whether he was going to come back and do it again. They decided at the 11th hour to come back and do it again, and they may be rewarded right here at Pocono.
Coming into this race, Craig Gose was tied for 7th in the point standings after he qualified 3rd and grabbed 5 bonus points that put him in sole position of 7th. Mikey Kyle again started on the pole. He had a dominant race car, was faster than the rest of the field by 0.8 of a second, and now when it counts the most, he's having a hard time reeling in the 81 of Craig Gose.
Craig just needs to hit his marks, not make any mistakes. He's got about an 8-car length lead. 2 to go.
He has been flawless up to this point since the last restart. Now you see some tape on the front end of that 81.
A little bit of debris there.
He's got a little debris on the front of his race car, but it's not covering the opening to the radiator, so he shouldn't have a problem with overheating.
Yeah, that doesn't matter at this point. That actually looks like debris from another car. I'm not sure that's tape. That looks like a piece of aluminum.
Could be from another car on the front end of that 81. He's gonna carry some other car part to victory lane if he can hold off Mikey Kyle for the final lap and a 3rd. See that debris on the front of the race car. It's not affecting the performance of this 81 because he continues to dominate the 25. They work through turn number 3. They'll have just 1 lap to go. The white flag will go in the air. Craig Gose, 2.5 miles away from his first win in the ARCA Racing Series.
Eddie Sharp Racing proved that he's a championship winning team. They won last year with Justin Lofton. They came oh so close with Michael McDowell a couple years ago and with Scott Speed. And looks like if they can hold it off for another half lap, they're going to get a win at Pocono. Real high, real wide.
Really close to the wall, the outside wall as he came out of turn 1.
Looks like he kept the momentum, though he kept a big enough lead over the 25 of Mikey Kyle.
Mikey Kyle will be disappointed with this day, even though he will have a career best finish of 2nd. Craig Gose coming in. His career best was 2nd. He'd done it twice before. He's looking to improve on that. Coming out of turn number 3, Craig Gose out of Greenville, North Carolina, crosses the stripe and wins at Pocono.
How about that? What a great job by Craig Gose. Made a green flag pit stop, and it could not have worked out any better for him. The caution flag came out. This racetrack is so big, he was able to stay on the lead lap, inherited the lead when Mikey Kyle came to pit road, and was able to hold him off.
Mikey Kyle's best finish prior to today was a 4th at Talladega. He gets 2nd today, but I'm sure will be disappointed as he was a dominant performer from the drop of the green flag.
And how about Chad Finley? 18-year-old Chad Finley gets a career best third-place finish in Brad Keselowski's car.
And one very excited crew chief is standing by with Wendy.
And Johnny Allen can now take a sigh of relief. I know your phone's already ringing. Congratulations. That last pit stop getting you guys out front was the key.
Yeah, I mean, the luck went our way. We pitted. I was trying to force their hand and pit a little early, and the caution fell just right for us, and Craig done a great job. All the guys that are working at 80 Sharp Racing done a great job. I mean, I can't say enough for them.
You were just telling me your last time at Pocono, and tell us about your experience here.
1994 was the last time I was here, and I won with Jeff Purvis. I mean, it's really cool to come back and win again with another driver.
All right, congratulations, Johnny Allen, as the burnouts have started by our winner, Craig Gose.
Well, for not ever being to victory lane in the ARCA Racing Series, I think he did a fairly good job of donuts for his first celebration.
He's not done yet either.
He's just warming up.
You never know when you're going to get back. You know, he want to take advantage of it because you just never know when you're going to get back there.
The team jumps down to congratulate Craig Gose. After starting this race in the 3rd position, he was the only one that gave Mikey Kyle any challenge today on the racetrack. Was out in front. 13 laps for today's race. And now he will be given the checkered flag. His first win in the ARCA Racing Series. And celebrations need to continue.
Absolutely. Well, he deserves it. You can hear that exhaust leak. Sounds like a lawnmower.
Well, it's an awful fast one because it just won at Pocono. And what a monumental win. Not only is it the first win for Craig Gose, but it's the 50th race for the ARCA Racing Series at this racetrack. 50 races from this facility, and win number 1 for Craig Gose. Welcome back to Messina Wildlife Animal Stopper 200, just coming to conclusion for the Pocono Raceway, and I'm sure a very excited young driver waiting to jump out of that race car, so we'll go down to Wendy Venerini.
And Craig Gose climbs out of his car for his first victory in the ARCA REMAX Series, dousing him with water. Phil Parsons, you said that engine sounded like a lawnmower. It sounded like that as it came to victory lane, but it doesn't matter. Craig Gose in victory lane. Congratulations on your first win, my friend.
Thank you very much. I want to thank my mom, dad, girlfriend, everybody at 80 Sharp Racing. Johnny Allen made good calls all day. We worked on getting this Greenville Toyota Camry better each pit stop. Well, as we needed to get a little bit was a clean air, and we got that. And that last adjustment that they made was really what we needed to come off of 3 much better. And I think we've got a cracked head or something, but I was just praying that it was going faster than it sounded. But I couldn't be happier to be here. I feel like we definitely have more of this coming our way, I think.
And in the driver's seat, listening to that cracked header, it didn't sound very good to you. How nervous were you, and how were you able to hold off Mikey Kyle?
I just didn't think about it. Actually, it might have helped me. It was so loud inside the car, I really didn't think about anything else other than that noise. And Lauren, I got to thank him. He did an awesome job for me, spotting, kept me calm, and that's that's all part of it. It's all these guys, from my team owner to everybody on the team. So it's awesome.
Well, Craig, come around to the front of the car. I got to show you real quickly the side skirt you carried around all the way to victory lane on your nose. Check this out, my friend. Way to go.
How about that? I wonder how long that was like that for.
Well, nonetheless, Craig Gose in victory lane for his first win in 2010 and his first win in the ARCA Series. Jim?
And for Mikey Kyle and Venturini Motorsports, everything but the W today. Dominant run. What was the difference at the finish, Mikey?
Just a caution fail when they need it, not when we need it. We made that last little run there, a couple of laps. I knew it was going to be close. My only shot I feel like was getting was on the restart, and I was a little tight in 1 and tight in 3. So, but all in all, good debut for Sears Auto Center and Die Hard. And we'll go to Michigan from here. But it's a good start the way the year's been. We had some bad luck and misfortunes in some other races, but second place is first loser, so a little bittersweet.
Well, this is the same race car you tested at Michigan. You're taking it there this Friday. What can you take away from how good this car was for as long as it was today for that race in Michigan on Friday?
Well, We tested there in Michigan last week, and the car was great. Really good long runs, qualifying trim and everything. And supposedly we got some more horsepower than we had at the test, so that just makes you that much more excited. Kind of want to leave here and go straight there, But all in all, good day, and we'll go to Michigan and see what we can do there.
Certainly will be a hungry driver and one to watch on Friday, guys.
A career best finish, but as you could tell, not what he was hoping for today. You see the unofficial results. Only 4 cars ended up on the lead lap, as it was a tough day for attrition from the long green flag runs.
And Frank Kimmel gets his 18th top 5 finish here at Pocono.
Very impressive. Chase Mattioli, we saw him down there in the 28th position. A difficult day for him. The smiles all over this team, though, as they're standing in victory lane. Patrick Sheltra holding on to the lead. Justin Marks, Mikey Kyle. Your top 3. Craig Gose in the 5th position, moves up from 7th with this win.
Frank Kimmel still in striking distance, back in 6th. Tom Hessert had trouble early on, ended up finishing in the 19th position.
Everyone enjoying the first win for Craig Gose. Again, coming up next, the Rolex Sports Car Series, where you'll see Jimmy Johnson taking on some of the boys there at the Glen. But it was the tricky triangle that we thought Mikey Kyle had dominated and figured out. But when it came down to it, it was a good restart by Craig Gose.
And Craig Gose talked about it. They got very, very fortunate. Johnny Allen, his crew chief, talked about it. They got the caution exactly when they needed it. They were able to stay on the lead lap, and then they had that clean air. He beat him on the restart, and then the race was his.
Difficult times for some drivers, but elation for others, as Craig Gose is able to go on and win his first ever ARCA Racing Series race from Pocono. We'll be back in Michigan next Friday.